Welcome to Friendly Math 101. Today our lesson is on solving radical equations that involve factoring. Let's take a look at our first example. So here we have x equals the square root of 30 minus x. Our first step is to isolate the radical, but it's already isolated, so we're going to go straight to squaring both sides. We will get x squared equals 30 minus x. So by squaring, we just got rid of that square root symbol. Now that we have a quadratic, we have to move all of our terms to that same side. We're going to put it in standard form. And when we do that, it zeroes out on the right-hand side. We get x squared plus x minus 30 is equal to 0. And I'm going to solve this quadratic by factoring. So when I factor, I will get x plus 6 times x minus 5 is equal to 0. And we have to set our factors equal to 0 to get our solutions. So x plus 6 equals 0. I will subtract 6 from both sides to 0 out that 6, and we get x is equal to negative 6. And then x minus 5, also setting it equal to 0, add 5 to both sides, and we get x is equal to 5. So it looks like we have two solutions, but we have to substitute them back in to see if they work. So first, substituting in negative 6, we'll get negative 6 on the left equals 30 minus a negative 6 is positive 36. And the square root of 36 is actually positive 6. So negative 6 does not work. When we substitute 5, we get 5 on the left-hand side. And then 30 minus 5 is 25. The square root of 25 is, in fact, 5. So our solution for this radical equation is x equals 5. Negative 6 is called an extraneous solution. It does not work. Let's take a look at another example. Here we have v equals the square root of 5v. We are going to start off by squaring both sides. And when we do that, we get v squared is equal to 5v because the square root just gets rid of, or the square gets rid of the square root symbol. I'm going to subtract 5v from both sides. And we get v squared minus 5v is equal to 0. When I factor this, I'm going to factor out the GCF, which is v. I get v times v minus 5 is equal to 0. These are my two factors. So I'm going to set this equal to 0. I get v equals 0. I don't have to solve this because it's already solved. So that's one solution. And then v minus 5 equals 0. I'm going to solve for v, and I get v equals positive 5. I still have to check to see if these work. So I'm going to substitute in 0. We'll get 0 equals 5 times 0, 0. The square root of 0 is still 0, so that actually works. This is a solution. Substituting in 5, we get 5 equals 5 times 5 is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. So on this problem, we actually have two solutions. They both work. We get v equals 0 and v equals positive 5. Let's take a look at one more example. Again, we're going to start this problem by squaring both sides since the radical is already isolated. M squared is equal to negative 3m plus 40. I want to move everything to the left so it's on the same side as that quadratic term. And I do that by applying inverse operations. So we get m squared plus 3m minus 40 is equal to 0. And when I factor this, I get m plus 8 times m minus 5 equals 0. And I have to set the factors equal to 0 to solve. So m plus 8 equals 0. To solve for m, we have to subtract 8 from both sides of the equation. And we get m equals negative 8. And then m minus 5 equals 0. We're going to add 5 to both sides, and we get m equals positive 5. So let's go ahead and substitute these in to make sure they're not extraneous solutions. So -8 equals, this would be 24 plus 40, which is 64, and the square root of 64 is +8. So -8 is not a solution, it's an extraneous solution. And then when we substitute in 5, we get 5 equals, this becomes -15 plus 40, which is 25, and the square root of 25 is in fact 5. So for this problem, m equals 5 is our solution, not -8. That concludes our lesson on solving radical equations that involve factoring. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave your questions in the comments section below. And for more math tutorials, please subscribe to our channel, Friendly Math 101.